coach Mikasa, and well, they started off with a pretty bad record so far. But I will point out that the two teams that they played against was Secret in the first series, I believe, and then it was Newbie in the second series. So that is a rough start for them, obviously, in terms of who they have to play against. However, um, DC obviously pretty good opponents, but I think Vici Reborn might have the potential to take a game here.
Yeah, and on top of that, they got rid of Nono. They benched him as previously their star mid player. Then they brought back in Mikasa, but no longer able to use Yang as the offlaner. So I believe it's Mikasa who's taken over that role, right? And now it's Nono playing the mid lane.
Yes, I believe so.
It is Nono in his customary role. The coach, definitely a versatile player. And has played quite a few roles back in his day, but still, it's not an ideal situation for VG.R. They will be underdogs in this series, probably in every series until they start putting some wins on the board. Let's see if they can do it here. So draft quickly getting underway. A first overall pick, Shadow Demon, to start things off. What are you expecting out of DC?
From DC, they've had some interesting picks so far in this tournament. They've done a lot of different stuff, which I think has been pretty cool. Obviously, they've played a little bit of Ursa. They've been playing a little bit of Razor. They did Alchemist the other day. Invoker, I think, was played by Weeha as well. So a lot of Bat Rider is kind of what I expect to see. I think it might be banned, though. So, yeah, DC banned that out. They'll pick up the Eye, which is another hero they've been picking up a little bit, I believe. Not 100% sure about that. But
will they take the Mirana? VG.R already with Shadow Demon. Mirana, a great partner for that. Also, just a generally good scaling core or support. And DC have played quite a bit of Mirana. We've seen Misery on the 4 role playing it a lot. I think it was in the qualifiers the last time we saw him, as well as that Star Ladder. So still remains to be seen.
Does Weehop play it in the mid lane at all, or no? I can't remember a game where I've seen Weehop play it mid.
No, I think it's mostly been a 4 position for them. I want to say I saw Resolution play it once, but they go Sandcane instead. So Sandcane, pretty early in the draft as well. This is a hero that's been stock rising as of late. Generally, where we see him excel is when he gets help in the offlane, and I've seen him more often on the Radiant side, but DC going to pick him up on the Dire. So quite likely this could be a dual lane off lane. It could be a support duo, but generally Sandcane has been played as a core as of late.
Moo used to love this hero. Like, he used to be one of his favorites. So the fact that they pick it up now is not super shocking to me. The fact that they pick it up second, as you had mentioned, is kind of surprising to me. I don't see it wouldn't have gotten banned. They haven't picked it in this tournament yet, so I don't know why they go for it second. But they clearly have a plan with it. They want to get something done. They have the IO to go with whoever. I do like the Luna ban there, as DC actually played Shadow Demon Luna recently in one of the games they played, and they did it very well. So I think they saw that Shadow Demon was picked up. They know how powerful Luna can be with that hero with the illusions, so they banned it out.
Worth mentioning, so far Drow ignored in this series, a hero that has been a game winner in most of the others that we've cast, but not being picked up early. Another one of the cheesier options. Huskar gets taken out of the pool. I like the Juggernaut reply. Blade Fury is very good against Caustic Finale. He's also a difficult hero to burst down with Epicenter as well as Burrow Strike, and he's pretty open-ended as far as lane goes. So they can lane him against the Sand King. They can put him mid instead. I think they probably want that matchup with the Jug versus the Sand King, whether it's mid, whether it's bottom. Even if the Sand King goes safe lane, maybe they move the Jug there. But it gives you flexibility with your lanes. And that's important to have when you don't know what DC are going to do. The Sand King could be in pretty much any role. The IO almost certainly in a support role, but where the IO focuses its attention remains to be seen.
Yeah, I mean, right now this is both a pretty open-ended draft for both teams at this point in time, so I do think the Huskar ban is very, very apt. Vici Gaming Reborn got Huskar'd twice yesterday, I believe, by... I can't remember what squad it was, but they
did. Was it Secret? I think it was Secret.
I think it might have been Secret. Yeah, you're right. It was Secret. They got 2-0'd by them, and they picked Huskar in both games. And I don't know how VG.R just said, okay, we got Huskar'd once. Let's let it go through again, and then...
just ban the hero.
Yeah, and they do this time around.
Or have a good strategy for dealing with. Like, what Wings had today should have worked against Huskar. They misplayed horribly, and OG made some great plays, but I think there are ways to beat Huskar. I don't think you have to ban him, but especially once you lose to him once, it's just say it. You want to at least have a shot in the game and not just immediately lose 2 points because you can't deal with Huskar.
Yeah, I agree with you. Huskar is just something you should be taking out of the pool from the get-go if you don't know how to deal with it. And of course, they have done so. Vici Gaming Reborn, they'll ban out the Alchemist, they'll ban out the Aero Spirit, they'll ban out the Huskar, and they have one more ban to go left with, of course, 2 minutes left in reserve 2 minutes left in reserve time. So there's plenty of time to go and think about what they want to ban. Not only that, but what they want to pick as well. Although first pick coming out of this phase is going to be for DC. What is available that is premium? In your opinion, what do you think is the best pick here for DC out of out of this phase?
It depends on the Sand King's role. I still think Mirana's a really strong option. They have good setup now for the arrow with the Burrow Strike. It's a lot of magic damage, so if someone gets a Veil, then it adds up. Yeah, you can't kill Juggernaut with it, and there indeed is the Mirana. But it's still good outside of that, and if Juggernaut's forced to Blade Fury, he's already playing defensively. VG.R.
Well, you do have a Jug at least with Blade Fury against Starstorm, which is kind of nice, but that's the one good thing.
I like the Jug a lot in this game. I think Jug's a really strong pick, and I'm just wondering VG.R like overall game plan wise, because when we saw them, the one game I saw with them yesterday, they ran the Alk for No. He got super far mid, and it looked like they were in control of the game, but got picked off, died repeatedly. Do they try to play a more up-tempo game? DC with this draft will be looking for kills in the mid game, so having a defensive support and a strong, versatile carry who's not easily ganked is nice. But they still need their tempo controller. Batrider is okay this game. I would relocate as a decent counter to it, but I still think a Bat could work. For Mikasa, they go for something different though. Disruption into Crush is a pretty convenient setup, but it's not really like the most reliable initiation later on in the game. It does give them huge physical damage burst against the 0 base armor IO, so it still leaves the lanes open. It could be a safe lane Slardar. I think you want to avoid the Sand King Slardar matchup though. To me, that's probably the biggest issue with running a melee core is you most of them just won't lane well against Sand King.
Yeah, I mean the Slardar pick is certainly something that's I don't know if any teams really run it so far. I think maybe 1 or 2 teams have picked it up.
He was all the rage back, I think it was at Shanghai.
Yeah, that's very true. But
back when physical damage was king.
Yeah, and the amp damage nerf they did to him, I think they nerfed something else alongside the amp damage nerf.
He got some small tweaks. I think it's more that just a lot of the magic damage heroes got a lot stronger.
Very true.
So your traditional physical damage dealers kind of fell off in popularity. DC go now into Morphlane. So this is a hero that hugely benefits from the IO tether, the regen that it provides, as well as the mobility, and can later on be a good source of pick-off potential. Man, VG.R, no Elder Titan available. The best Morphling counter is probably AA, but AA is also food for heroes like Sand King and Mirana if it gets caught out in the mid-game, so wonder if they will go for it.
Well, they still need, like you said, it could be AA, it could be, there's plenty of other supports ready and willing to be picked up as well.
Lion is pretty good here.
Yeah, I think so too.
Lion Shadow Demon's a little awkward.
I'm trying to think of what they're going to pick up for End.
Okay.
Well, that's a good support.
It's all secret running the Kunkka.
DC
yesterday.
ran this as well, so they know what to do. They know what to expect with the Kunkka. But it generally is going to be it's like the good old Shadow Demon disruption into support or to Torrent combination. Whereas usually sometimes you'll just do the X for the Torrent combination. Now you can get away with just having the disruption first and foremost, or even a Slithering Crush as well. Might be helpful in that regard. So,
who was the team that we saw the Kunkka Ags from? Was that DC?
That was OG at Summit, and I want to say Grand Finals, and it was awful. It just like...
Yeah. You're not picking this hero for the Ags.
No Tail did it as a core. He played it as a core, and he got it like at the end of the game, right before they were about to lose. He threw the boat, and it hit one person. It was like the axe, and that was it. I was like, that was super underwhelming. So, I don't know. Probably not going to be the Kunkka Ags. However, I would like to see it again, maybe with better.
I would like to see it work, but
yes,
it's
exactly.
a fairly underwhelming upgrade as far as
it
Ags
is.
go. The last ban will be a a Life Stealer. Yeah, they have a decent vehicle in the Slardar, but VG.R looks like a support Kunkka, support Shadow Demon, so they're likely looking for a mid hero. As far as heroes that really combine well with Slardar. Besides Lifestealer, there's Death Prophet. Bit vulnerable to burst damage, but they do like this game. They have the defensive supports. They have Kunko's boat. They have disruption. We saw in the OG Wing series there was another Death Prophet pick, but had no defensive support. So I think this is a much better game if VG.R want to go for that. It also lanes pretty well against Mirana. Morphlane maybe struggles against the dual lane a bit.
I was thinking about what hero they were going to ban for DC and Oracle if it's that mold. They need another support as well, but I am interested in VG.R's pick. I know you're touching on it. I want to see what they go for here.
Yeah, I think that Prophet's decent.
Yeah.
There's Razor already been banned.
I think this is supposed to be an end hero unless they play Slaughter for him, but unless they do Juggernaut.
Well, he plays the Jug.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
will play the Jug.
That's true.
So I think you're looking at a no hero.
Yeah, you're probably right, actually.
And Mikasa Slardar.
He played Jug against Newbie. Did not work well. He went Battle Fury, Scotty. That was the long game, I believe. It was an hour-long game.
He was pretty farmed that game.
Yeah, he had some serious cash, but they just couldn't take the victory, and that might have been their best chance. They go TA instead, so you're right. It's going to be the no TA in this situation.
Wow, that's not a bad. There's not that much damage over time.
No, there's very, in fact,
and it's great
little.
with Slardar.
Against Mirana, it's pretty good until like she gets quad Starstorms, and then you're just like, well, I guess my refraction is gone because I got to quad Starstorm.
The main issue for VG.R is if Slardar has a bad time in his lane, they don't have any way to start fights until much later in the game. Because come mid-game, Shadow Demon Kunkka is not a good initiation. You need the blink on Slardar. He has to get decent farm, but so often when you see these tricores where everyone needs farm, Jug, TA, and Slardar, the Slardar's the one that misses out, and then in the mid-game he just ends up being useless. So I'm a little worried about his ability to secure the early Blink Dagger. Maybe they run something unconventional, like an aggressive tri-lane, and get the Jug a 1v1 against Sand King.
I wouldn't mind that. I think it's a good aggressive tri-lane.
But I still think Sand King beats Juggernaut pretty heavily. Like, Blade Fury can dodge Caustic damage, but Caustic is always up, whereas Blade Fury has a long cooldown.
Yeah, Blade Fury at the first level's cooldown is very long.
It's 40 seconds.
Yeah, it's something like ridiculous. So I think the Caustic will do a lot of work in him getting last hits and him just dominating lane, doing a lot of damage to the Juggernaut. Excuse me. And Ogre Magi is the last pick for DC, and surprisingly it got this far and it was able to get picked up at the tail end of the draft. So I think that's a great pick for DC. It kind of fits their lineup pretty well. And I want to ask you, who do you think has the better draft here? I mean, I love Kunkka, but I'm not sure about this VG.R draft.
I think VG.R go harder into late game, especially super late game, but I'm a little concerned about their laning stage. That would be my main worry. So overall, I would say, let's see what the laning setup looks like, but unless VG.R can pull off something unexpected, I do favor DC.
We'll wait and see how things do shape up. Immediate smoke up as FY was looking to ward. Misery looking to drop a ward down as well, and he will put it up into probably, the Uber Cliff there towards the Ancient Stack. Quick pause coming up for Digital Chaos. I'm sure there's some sort of issue coming out. Maybe audio.
Nah, they're just making sure the pause button works.
Let me hit the F9 key. All right, we're good. Critical.
Nice and fresh.
Yeah.
Get ready for the tactical pause.
What else is there? I was thinking about FY is a player that there's been a lot of talk about him. He used to be FY God, and to some people he still is. I've heard that after he played with Hao and in that Vici incarnation, he had a couple of confidence issues, and so maybe not quite the same player. Again, I haven't seen much of VG.R. They're 0-4 right now, though, and this is a guy that used to be one of the best, if not best, Rubik, or just actually support players of all time.
They had issues within the team, but that's more because Hao is just a very strong personality, and
correct.
And how, whether or not he's technically the captain of the drafter, is always going to have his opinions on how the game should be played. So I'm not sure about FY lacking confidence necessarily. To me, his individual play has still been on point. I think the bigger issue for VG.R is No suddenly being back in the fold when they were doing so well with Yang, their big playmaker in the off lane. Right up there. Oh, hold that thought. Here we go. Early initiation.
And it's going to find Misery. And he's going to get Slithering Crushed as well, the Tether, but no way, they can't save him. Of course, level 1.
Just when you doubt FY God, VG.R with the easy first blood.
I mean, he was trapped, unfortunately. He actually stood in these trees over here at the secret shop. He was right in this area. He had placed this ward down, but they knew that he was there, so they chased him down, and the disruption came through. And there's nothing you can do in that situation for Misery, so he does have to feed away first blood, but might not be the worst thing in the world. They could try to contest top rune, though, for VG.R, and they're going to go for it. And it looks like they might get both of these runes. Now, Moo does get the bottom one for the...
Yeah, but End is going to punish him for that. Nice little spin there. Meanwhile, they find Weehaw, and another pick off for VG.R. Shadow Demon Kunkka doing a lot of work early.
Yeah, this is a great start. Misery is looking at least punish Noto a little bit, but nothing else there.
So this is a good... Ogre is very good against TA. The Ignite will remove your refraction charges. And I also believe you can't meld dodge it. At least you didn't used to be able to, so...
I don't think so.
So even if you meld, like, while the... Because there's some projectiles that, while they're coming in, you could dodge, but
that arrow
already in a lot of trouble.
They do get the Torrent, but they've already lost the TA, and we'll see if FY with the tower can do enough damage, and that tower is hitting him very hard. But again, 8 armor for the Ogre Magi, as Misery is going to be able to get out for the time being. He's probably going to deny himself. It looks like that'll be the case.
Meanwhile, bottom lane, End chasing after Mr. Moo. Already committed the Burrow Strike. The spin comes through, but End doesn't stay close enough to him. Doesn't have the boots.
Yeah, exactly. Moo is boots first. End does not. Movement speed advantage. Going the way of the Sand King, not to mention the Burrow Strike, but he is still in a little bit of trouble here. DDC is going to right-click him at least twice, and he doesn't have any more disruption, unfortunately.
Yeah, so Moo having a bad lane. No. To me, out of all these deaths, no, that was the avoidable one. He played way too far up. Maybe hasn't laned against an Ogre as TA. TA is generally not a hero that we see much of lately, so it's a very strong counter to TA in the early laning stage, especially, and you have to play super defensively because he removes your refraction instantly and he hits very hard after that.
And we definitely will need some help here. I mean, if a TA versus a Mirana matchup is just given a 1v1, Mirana doesn't do much base damage, so...
And she has no reliable way to break refractions. Yeah, it's really bad for Mirana in a 1v1, but that's where help from a little friend, or a big friend in this case, comes in handy.
Yeah, this Ogre pick is looking better and better by the second, but it's been good all throughout this tournament, so we'll continue to see it picked up as we progress through the second day of group stage action. DDC will find himself a kill on Moo in the bottom lane as Sand King does fall, and that's a big pickup in Moo. This is the problem with the Sand King, is they picked it second, but he's not really having a particularly good time.
Well, we've seen other teams run the Sand King, they run it in a dual lane. Like Na'Vi is probably the best example where they've been running a lot of the general Sand King, but he gets the Io's help. Moo's not getting any help on him. He's just up against the tri-lane, and I don't think Sand King could do anything against the tri-lane. The Juggernaut is already one of the better heroes to deal with Sand King because of the Blade Fury, and with this matchup, he's quite likely to have to resort to the jungle at some point. Maybe they stack for him. He has not skilled any points in Sandstorm as of yet, though. So, overall, things looking rather bleak for Moo. Just for the opposing offlaner.
That was a lot of gold he got there.
He does manage to steal quite a bit of gold, but as for Mikasa, he's at least able to get his experience early on, but this is another lane where the offlaner is going to struggle, may have to resort to an early Iron Talon.
Who's actually doing better in terms of experience than Mikasa is in this offlane right now, although Mikasa has 5 last hits. There are 9 going the way of Moose and Sand King. Meanwhile, mid, it looks like there was a Ignite thrown, and it's just No again getting pushed further and further back, but he's not doing that badly. In fact, he's tied in CS with Weehaw right now, or at least last hits.
If there wasn't an Ogre here, he'd be crushing the lane. See VG.R bringing in more reinforcements. They refill Nono's bottle once again, and now they're going to move forward.
They don't have a smoke, but they do have boots. No X marks, by the way, but the disruption is there to set it up.
They have boots and Windlace, so they can run down this Ogre.
Yeah, Ogre's probably the target that is easiest to kill. They actually are buying a smoke and ferrying it out, I believe, but it's going to take a while to get there.
They're expecting Misery to stick around mid because they know the matchup's favorable for TA, and they know Misery wants to give help to Weehaw. So as soon as DC make an aggressive move on No, they plan to counter it, unfortunately. Also a rune spawn to worry about, so DDC, well, I say unfortunately, but fortunately for him, it's an Invis.
They didn't see that it was an Invis either, but the thing is that they do know everyone is missing off the map, but
this
the
looks
Ignite
bad
will come
for DC.
through. They're going to Fire Blast, they're going to go for the arrow. I think it might have hit DDC. It did, I'm sure. There's going to be the Torrent as well, and Misery should end up falling.
Nice pick there.
Yeah.
Simultaneously, Mikasa being given a little more breathing room here. I see Moo also left alone. So, and gets a little frustrated. Blade Fury to force him back. Overall, though, these lanes looking fairly even. DC pulling ahead despite the 4-1 kill score. When you're running Shadow Demon Kunkka, you have to keep on getting those kills to stay ahead. They just don't do much else in the laning stage.
Yeah, this is important for these two heroes to get to level 6, especially for actually both of them and for most support heroes. I mean, it's pretty big deal. They're underneath a ward that is about to expire, or their ward that's about to expire. I was wondering if they're going to place it in the same spot, but Saksa probably needs to tether away. Unfortunately, won't be in time. He tethers as the Torrent and Slithering Crush come through. That was pretty impressive. And
that tether materialized before I even saw his hero.
Yeah, that was kind of crazy. He must have been spamming that, and I guess it just has a good
the visual animation makes it look different. Oh, no. Left alone mid, the Starfall over the top.
Refraction, I think.
But he timed the refraction well there, and he's able to block at least one of the Starstorms.
There's the Slithering Crush from Mikasa. Is actually waiting for the rest of the team. The arrow coming through is going to hit No. Refraction not available for another 3 seconds. He's low. Ignite comes out. They really want the skill on the Tia. He might die. No, the refraction will keep him alive. The Ignite, it's not going to be enough. He'll stay alive. Just barely.
Still, they're investing a lot to deal with this Ogre pressure mid. That's a dual lane, and they're sending 4 heroes mid. So look for DC to benefit elsewhere, which is what we're seeing now. Sandkane catching up and even pulling ahead perhaps in the lane as he's 26-1, just barely behind end. And then more importantly, the Morphling and the IO getting a lot out of their lane. Level 4 on Sox already, level 6 and free farm on Resolution at 45 CS. So this is a trade, but I think overall VG.R, this is what they should be doing. They need to protect No. He will feed if he's left alone, just given the matchup and given the amount of pressure the Ogre can put on him.
And No, because he's been involved in a couple of these kills and assists, his net worth is starting to skyrocket. I mean, there was a point where he was doing worse than the Mirana, but now he's above said hero, and he's actually 300 net worth above. Moo's going to go on to end bottom. There's a lot of damage. The Caustic Finale and the Sand King's Burrow Strike hit at the same time. There's a hero nearby. It is DDC on the Shadow Demon with Disruption. And guess what? FY has also rotated down bottom as well, ready to go with any sort of combination.
There's also no mana on Sandkane. This is a good time to go home, buy your items, which is what we see Moo doing.
Wow,
Raindrops coming up.
Raindrop Wand, TP Scroll, and Smoke. He's got everything, dear lord.
Also for VG.R, they're playing well around the TA. You definitely not only need to protect her in the lanes, but you need to stack for her mod, and that's what we see here, a triple stack for No. So even if he doesn't see us the best in the lane, normally TA is more of a dominator, but we're not seeing that 1v1 crushing by any means. He can pull ahead there.
The Ancients are also stacked pretty heavily as well.
Yeah, the triple stack.
Oh, I thought, well, there's another stack over here in the Dire Jungle. I thought you were talking about this one. It's over towards the lane, but I think they're just using that to pull, and they happen to...
The Dire Jungle. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think this is more for the support, this particular stack. It could be for the Sand King, though, if he shows up.
Yeah, he would love that. Does he have Sandstorm yet? Nope. Still going 3 points Caustic, 3 points Burrow Strike.
Seems like the build right now.
Yeah.
I have not seen many points in Sandstorm as of late.
Yep. Disruption's going to come out. It'll be onto said Sand King, and it looks like Weehaw will have to break off pursuit with Moo. Instead, they're going to put some attention towards top lane, where Resolution now, the top net worth, will go to work on this tier 1 tower and try to take the first one of the game. But there's TPs coming in.
Oh, DC wanting to dive, but this is too far to aggress.
Thought about it. There's the Fire Blast. They can wait for him now. FY might be in trouble. No Ghost Ship. He's only level 5, so they're in Crush. Mikasa's low.
They want the Mikasa kill. That's the more important one. Wait for him through, and he will get it.
Now there's the Moonlight Shadow to follow up. Misery throws up the Ignite. It'll hit on the FY. And TP's up, and he's not able to find a single kill. I think he has Omni Slash as well, but not going to use it in this situation. He's out of mana, but he does have the Mango. They're going to go back in. They really want this tower.
No more Glyph. I think VG.R have to let this go. So they force out rotations, they still get the kill on the Slaughter, and they get the tower. That's a big win for DC. Resolution even getting the last hit, puts him on a fast clip for the Lincoln Sphere. Meanwhile, Moo closing on a Blink Dagger. As the laning stage progresses, it feels like DC are getting the upper hand, and I think this just shows you how much the Ogre can get done in the laning stage. Basically, one support forcing 2 supports to react to him. Shadow Demon and Kunkka have been mirroring the Ogre's movement. Io's just been freely farming and getting levels top and helping win that lane, so
yeah,
it results in a big disparity elsewhere on the map.
It's just been some impressive display from DC supports, I think. The IO hasn't really done much yet, but when he gets 6, we'll see those relocate saves. But bottom lane, there's going to be the disruption.
They need this kill. Moo is very fat, but he gets the
my.
2-hero stun.
Wow.
X, can they get the vision?
They're close. The torrent, he uses it, and now it looks like Moo will end up falling, regardless of him getting out.
Will he though? He's gonna have another burrow. There's the poison.
And there was 4 stacks at least, I believe. It might have even been 5, and it did so much damage to Moo. It's like 75% or 50% of his HP just immediately evaporated.
This is what I mentioned even during the draft, Travis, is when you see a tricore where all 3 heroes need farm, inevitably it seems like the offlane Slardar is the one who really suffers, and he is super poor right now.
He's below the supports now.
He's almost below the enemy supports. He is right there in the gutter. Slardar needs farm. Slardar needs levels. This is not a hero you can just abandon. He's much like a Sand King, but I think he has a harder time catching up. He doesn't have Caustic Finale. He's not as good at clearing stacks. And
exactly.
They've invested so much in No and End that there's been little left for Coach Mikasa. Well, now player Mikasa.
And he did die once, which obviously it's detrimental. He can't really farm the fastest if he dies. So you need to avoid that death top lane. And that, of course, that also cost them the tower probably as well. If he was there alive, they might have been able to set something up. But speaking of trying to set something up, it's, again, another push coming in, this time from Weeha with Moo and Misery backing him up. And it looks like there are 3 heroes in the vicinity with the 4th approaching an end. This is going to be a tough defense, but once this Juggernaut gets here, it might be a little bit easier.
Moo's really eager to fight this. There's a lot of ways to cancel the ultimate, so they're going to go in on Misery perch to start.
That's a dead Misery. Ghost Shift and Torrent at the same time with the, like you said, the Purge. And they lose Misery. It's not the worst kill. I mean, if they lost 3 there, it would have been a lot worse. They didn't get the tower, obviously, but they could have been in a worse situation.
Yeah, elsewhere Resolution free farming top, but to account for that, No clearing out his ancient stack. So I think the fact that No's being allowed to just free farm the ancients and there's no contest is overall win for him. And right as I say that, Saxa has the same idea. He pings it out and says, we need to do something about these ancients. Can't just be letting No take them for free.
It is unfortunately going to be too late as he's cleared out most of these ancients. Now down bottom, Moo is looking for FY. Epicenter has been skilled up. He's got 1,000 gold, still no blank, obviously, with that little limited amount of gold at this point. Resolution's farming mid, so
they have a smoke. Are they gonna
go for something here?
They're very far behind the tower. This is a strong defensive setup with Disruption and Blade Fury. It's not easy to kill anyone. And you can't really initiate on the Juggernaut, so DC say, screw that lane. We're gonna make a deeper move. And we're going to do it towards mid.
This is a great play.
No has an Invis rune. Is there dire detection? Nothing. So if he pops this Invis in time, they might not be able to kill him. They do have Epi, though. No should know something's up. They were bottom a second ago. Now they're gone. They have 4 missing now. I feel like this is way too obvious from DC.
Yeah, it's just No's going to sit behind the tower. They might wait for the creep wave and then dive it. That's probably your best bet. TP should be ready coming out for Vici Reborn, and I think they are. Everyone has a TP for Vici Reborn, so...
Yeah, you can see End pinning the bottom lane. Pretty sure VG.R making the call. Hey, this lane's missing. There's already been 2 heroes missing. 4 heroes off the map. Play cautiously. And No will do just that, so... TA, who was like almost 2,000 gold down on the Morph lane, only 800 away. Those ancient stacks make a huge difference. DC not contesting them could come back to be a big problem.
With a blink dagger as well. Moo's going to go in. He's looking for Mikasa, but they're baiting it. Now Moo will take 2 hits, and he's got the amp damage plus Meld Strike. One more right click, the auto attack from No with a refraction on will do enough. And that's just the Invis rune coming to play. And also, they should see the blink as well, and they used it in that fight in particular.
Arrow not gonna hit.
And that creep was right in front.
Weeha getting a bit flummoxed there.
What did Weeha buy? I'm hoping a point booster. In fact, it was. So
is that even a question?
I don't know. We saw Facebook the other day for S4, so.
Well, S4 clearly not playing enough Marana. No, he got the Excel afterwards.
Right, true. Resolution, though, is going to have to strength morph and try to replicate away. The X-Mark's coming in, Demonic Purge, and he will end up falling. The poison will bring him down, and that was a lot of damage over a short period of time. And Resolution, even with strength morph at level 4, it's just not enough to keep him alive there. That's a big kill. It's a lot of gold going their way.
That's the one hero that's been free farming, so bringing down the most farmed enemy hero while protecting your own carries and playing safe puts VG.R in the lead. This is around the time when DC should start to take off, but they haven't managed to keep the farm up on Moo. He had a great start in the lane. He was way ahead of the Slardar. Now they're dead even. Same thing with the TA. Was way behind the enemy Mirana and especially the Morphling at some points, but now she's caught up too.
Yeah, this No TA is having a pretty great game. I mean, besides Mikasa having a pretty rough start, they're doing really well, and he still is going to have the Blink Dagger at the same time the Sand King is, which is kind of shocking. But that comes with, of course, them getting a couple of kills, and as long as you're playing together, you're going to get that experience and find some gold going your way as well.
Have you seen much of you've seen much support Kunkka? Do you normally max Tidebringer?
No, I don't. Well, it depends, I think, but usually not really, I don't think.
Usually
I'm pretty sure it's Torrent you max because it just does the most damage.
That's what I thought too.
But or even getting more points than X, but you don't really need it.
Is this just, maybe it's because they have Slardar, so he's thinking, the amp damage, that's, well no, but the cleave is pure, so it doesn't matter if they're amped. Actually, yeah, I'm not sure why F5 maxed it. Maybe just wanted to be able to farm more effectively in the mid game. Playing a bit greedy. It is FY after all. He's known for his greedy support play.
He wants that drum. He's got the bracer now, obviously. I think that's probably the fine choice, and we've seen that from other support Kunkkas as well. It's very common. Top tier 2 tower. Resolution's taking tower hits now, but here comes the TPs. They have a great deny from Mikasa. I was going to say there was no glyph, but the deny came through and was just in time. So some gold. Not really fully accomplished by Resolution and DC.
Yeah, they need that tower gold. Now No, your leader net worth 2k gold built up. He has just been free-farming Ancient Stacks, 3-1 and 3. He did get a lot of help in a matchup where he needed it, but now it's about to pay off. He's closing on Odesso, he's got a DD bottled up.
Oh man.
They're gonna have a TA problem real quick.
Yeah, this is the problem with, it was a great choice too, I think, from Vici Gaming, is just that the TA is so, when you get to this position, if you get to this position where you're farming out of control, you get the blink, you get the Desolator early on in the game, you can snowball like crazy, and it's so hard to stop a TA snowball. That's one of the heroes that has the, especially with you, if you have no heroes to deal with a TA, and they don't really have. With the
they have Ignite, but that's about it. And once TA gets a BKB and Deso, she will be a massive threat in these team fights. Amp damage, Soul Catcher, Meld Strike, Desolator. Most targets will get 2 or 3 shot at best.
Yeah.
Io might get 1 shot.
Ooh, Waveform dodges the Torrent. It was a good effort from FY, but...
Yeah, he still has the Linked Sphere on Resolution, so pretty difficult kill.
Resolution with that and at 1400 gold, I'd imagine he's going to go for the Ethereal Blade next. Again, I'm a big fan of the Dragonlance, but it's a different type of game, this game. They're not trying to be aggressive early on. They're not trying to fight and take down towers early on. They're just trying to find farm for him.
I think DC, with these item pickups, going for the E-Blade, going for the Ags and Wii, they will be looking to slow the game down. But VG.R, they're the ones who want to ramp it up. Deso's coming soon. You have a Slardar Blink about to be picked up. And their support duo is much more of a ganking style duo, so I would expect VG.R, true to, FY's normal form, to be looking for a lot of smoke ganks and pickoffs as soon as that next round of items is completed. The Deso now ready to be delivered, the Blink Dagger also online. Here we go.
They get those items, maybe wait for FY's drum, but it looks like actually they're kind of grouping up together right now, as you had mentioned. The smoke should be there from DDC, and it is.
There's really good vision here by DC, though.
They might smoke under the guise of a ward. Not quite.
Free fountain trip here for No. Grabs his Deso. He will be joining the team.
The DD pops at the perfect time, or almost the perfect time. He activates it, and he's looking for a team fight. Unfortunately, the only one bottom is going to be Moo, so they're not going to go for him. They might head into Roche instead, and that looks to be the case. And I don't think... Oh, the arrow's going to come at the perfect time, and it hits end beautifully as well.
They do have Epicenter, but Moo is not really in position.
He's kind of trapped.
He has the TP.
Oh, he's going for FY. They're relocating in. They missed, actually. They missed completely. No burrow strike. He doesn't see FY. That was a waste of an epicenter.
I don't even know if he realized I don't think he even realized they were there at first. And now, until the relocate came through. And now Saksa on the run. The relocate back happens. FY may drop, but he's baited up so much for the team.
While the run's coming through now. Now the Omni Slash Moo and Misery in trouble, getting dope on the tower.
This was before No joins the fight. This TA is going to pop off.
And he gets 2 quick kills, 1 for No, the other for, I believe, DDC.
FY is still alive, by
Resolution is chasing after FY, and he will not find him. Has to replicate out. And that's
Look at this guy. You questioned FY God.
No, I mean,
FY God.
he just owned. Is he going armlet? He has a helm and gloves of haste.
He's going carry Kunkka.
What the heck? I thought he was going to go like Veil or something, but now Weeha has found Mikasa, or maybe vice versa. He's got the leap ready, but the Starstorm doing some work. One more right click, but he leaped into danger, and Nono just hits the Meld Strike and gets an easy kill.
And they take the tower as well. A Roshan, a tower, a kill on the Mirana, a big win for VG.R, and they're going to look for more resolution. He is split pushing. Shotgun's not ready yet. They try to make that move on against Nono, holding the Aegis for now, but he's got backup from DDC. The Purge comes through.
They have protection, disruption. That might have stopped yeah, it did stop the damage coming from Nono. Here comes the Ghost Ship coming through. Resolution about to get hit. And Will, the Strength Dwarf now. He needs to be careful. They might have a relocate ready to go. They do in 1 second. Adaptive Strike. Nono is going to die twice. Resolution and Moo combining up to get that kill.
I think DDC should have disrupted the TA there, not the who was it, the Sand King? Or no, the Morphling, I believe.
Morphling, yeah.
I think he should have disrupted the TA, then he could have just blinked out.
He actually helped the Morphling because the TA did a Meld Strike that was dodged by the Morphlings because, of course, the disruption came out, so... Okay, I mean, that's just...
It also buys time for your refraction to cool down, which helps you like survive for a second round of the engagement.
I mean, that is a huge kill because the gold is going the way of Resolution. He is 200 to 300 away from having his Ethereal Blade, and then he'll be able to pick off pretty much anybody with the exception of course, the refraction up TA or the Blade Furied Juggernaut. So, and maybe the Shadow Demon can disrupt himself as well, but that's about it.
That was an overzealous maneuver by VG.R. Good punish by DC. I think should have been an avoidable death. They may need to slow down now. I mentioned the TA BKB. To me, that is probably the biggest item this game that she needs to get. Once she has a BKB, while it's active, DC cannot kill her. They can kite her, they can try to bypass her with the E-Blade, maybe keep an ally safe, which is now ready, but killing her is a very tall order.
Yes, absolutely. So from here on, DC, they'll smoke or Moonlight Shadow together as they've just gotten that Ethereal Blade. However, not joining them just yet is going to be the Morphling. I believe they're down bottom, ready to set up, and Nono is melded here looking for a Meld Strike, and he's, I think, just out of range, actually.
Yeah, bit short, but Resolution slowly chipping away here. The trap is deployed. Can't get this kill on his own. I think they need 3 heroes to kill this Morphling right now. Jumping onto Nono. Definitely the strongest hero on the map. 4 hero spread top as VG.R are looking for pickoffs.
If he breaks the refraction with the Ethereal Blade, he might be able to do enough damage, but probably not. I don't think it's enough. He has to do a couple more right-click, and then the refraction will be back up anyways. But the top lane is looking very interesting. Good Radiant Vision. Dire Vision's lacking a little bit because of the sentries placed down. Mizru will walk around, and there's the Burrow on to end. Good defensive disruption to start this off.
And the dust gets popped, kind of out of nowhere. Maybe expecting a Moonlight Shadow forward, but not the case. Still Nono trying to hold bottom. DC are slowly sieging the tower.
And they're going to be able to deny this tier 1 tower top lane.
They decide to go bottom instead. Can they find the IO is the question. The E-Blade used on Nono. The crush finds Saksa though.
They need to leave. No replicate. They're going to TP out. Saksa will end up dying. He is TP. Ooh, Mikasa, he had no Blink Dagger. Even if Nono had gotten there with the Meld Strike, it wouldn't have been enough to stop him.
Yeah, they even blew the relocate for that. Didn't actually complete. IO will end up going down. So FY completes his armlet. Carry Kunkka coming online. Curious to see what the build is next. Does he go, traditional carry Kunkka? Do you get the Shadow Blade?
What is traditional?
Do you go Daedalus?
I guess
Rapier.
Those 3 items. Battle Fury maybe even used to be the big deal.
No, that's some pub nonsense.
Way back in the day.
That's like Dota 1 pub noob shit.
I mean, I don't disagree with you. I wouldn't, but I think it's kind of silly, and I don't mind silly things happening. But although this is TI, so I don't think Battle Fury is the choice. I think you're right. Shadow Blade's probably the most common item choice here if he decides to continue to build and to carry.
The cleave is just the reason why Battle Fury is not any good on Kunkka is because it's fun, but it's because the Tidebringer cleave is just so much bigger than Battle Fury that the area where they overlap is very small. So it's better just to maximize your raw damage output, which all goes through the Tidebringer anyway.
He's gonna buy a Yule's. Okay. Well, I don't know what the armlet must be. He must want to stay alive longer, get some extra armor going his way, and deal with.
Yeah, it helps you to pull off plays and fights.
He doesn't want to die instantly to an Ethereal Blade combo, so armlet obviously will help that fact.
Yeah, I mean, there are cheaper options, though. You can get a cloak, you can get something that helps the team more, like build a pipe. It's more of like a middle-of-the-road item that gives you additional damage, lets you make individual plays, and yeah, also will help you live through the shotgun.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure. I mean, it's like almost a guaranteed way to live through shotgun unless there are other heroes there, and like a cloak might not be enough. I don't know. You're probably right though. It just seems interesting that he built the armlet for that particular reason.
This is just an FY build. He might be playing forward position, but at heart he is a carry.
Yeah, he has the Yule Scepter recipe. He has the Bracer still, which I thought was going to be turned into a drum, and that's what the Windlace is going to turn into, is that Yule Scepter. But they do trade tier 2 towers, one top lane going down, one bottom lane, and the BKB for No is now complete. And against that Morphling, it's a very critical item. Still, he might have to do it all on his own, as the Morphling can clean house, the Epicenter can do a lot of damage, and see how this transitions. How is End doing? He's picked up the Manta and the Diffusal Blade, so pretty good stuff from him.
Yeah, Diffusal Blade is a necessity against E-Blade. Also a pretty mana-intensive hero, the Morphling. If you can take away his mana pool, he's not nearly as tanky. So.
Moonlight Shadow blown up by a single side trap, I believe. I'm pretty sure it was the only thing that spotted them out there. It's gotta be so frustrating for DC, and probably gem-worthy. Although you give a gem away, it's just gonna be your Moonlight Shadows, not nearly as effective anymore.
Mikasa's moving in. His smoke might be breaking soon. VG.R even throwing out the arrow. It just barely misses, and they continue pursuit. He gets caught off guard.
They got the Torrent to follow this up as well. Leap away, but actually still gets caught by the Torrent. He'll get off one Starfall before dying, and Mikasa's not done yet. 3 seconds for another Blink Dagger. He wants Misery, the side trap to slow him down. Mikasa jumps in, the Spirit Crest will go. They have a Meld Strike in Misery.
That BKB!
That was a beautiful BKB to stop the Burrow Strike. He was ready for Moo. That was absolutely spectacular. And VG.R's bought back as well. So they buy back, and VG.R just back away instantly. Instead, Mikasa's going to think about turning around here. I don't see VG.R going back in and fighting again, because they got everything they need. There's no reason to try to engage after you get the buyback from the Mirana.
Yeah, you force out the buyback. You're very happy with that fight already.
That's
sure, it's a 10-second BKB, but Mirana buyback and a kill on her and a kill on another support is more than worth it.
So the Morphling is the one hero for DC they have that is very, very farmed, and he has only died once this game, but the Mirana now starting to fall off for VG.R.
I feel like Morphling will struggle to solo carry this game. He can do it,
yeah. But
there's a lot of heroes that are effective against him. They have Shadow Demon. Disrupting and purging Morphling forces him to run away. You get a small Morphling army of your own to combat him. Soul Catcher is great to have against that hero. And their physical damage is enormous. They also have a Diffusal Blade carrier, so you can't just rely on E-Blade to keep you safe.
And they have amp damage on top of that.
And they have amp damage. So I think VG.R have the tools to deal with the farm Morphling. But we saw Resolution go off yesterday and just have some sick individual play. So
I mean, it's
if
doable.
he can do that here, he can carry, but it won't be easy.
He's gonna jump on FY. Oh man, they were ready though. They jumped right into the ring crush. He's gonna have to replicate the X mark. He needed to wait. Oh, now Resolution, Manta style, but he should still end up falling.
He's out of mana now.
At least the waveform away, and now the relocate out.
The X
oh no, the X comes back. I was gonna say the relocate was beautiful, but FY God is there. I can't believe it again with another excellent X mark.
That's 2 X's, Mod. Give us a third, and this might not be fit for young viewers. FY out of control. Think of the children, my friend.
That's insane. They did everything to keep Resolution alive. He really wanted an aggressive play against FY, but instead, Resolution gets caught not once, but twice with an X marks and dies, even after a relocate save. Replicate out? No. Relocate out? No. FY is going to shut the door on you. And that will bring him out, I believe, his full Yule Scepter. In fact, it will.
And that will be Roche. 30 seconds. It will not take them more than 10 to 20.
Amp damage, so good. They have, like you said, outstanding physical damage. I mean, this Roche dies very quickly. Not instantly. It'll take, 10, 15 seconds or so. But other than that, still very fast Roshan. And it's going to be going to No, obviously, who's having a heck of a game. Now, after all of that, finishing up his BKB, he picks up a Chrysalis. And then the damage, you can't deal with that. You just can't.
Yeah, you have to wait out the BKB. TA is killable when her BKB is down, and certainly if she's caught out of position, but in a team fight with proper support and positioning, No will not be dying easily.
FY as well as End have no deaths this game. No has 2, the Shadow Demon has 1, and the Slardar has 3. There's 4 kills going DC's way. And
oh, they found Moo.
X Marks is going to bring him back again.
This X is just ruining DC.
Man. So what...
This is the FY show at this point.
I feel like you kind of have to deal with this X Marks now, and what do you do against it? Can you Lotus Orbit off? I don't believe you can.
Don't think anything removes it.
I know Manta doesn't.
You can't.
It might be able to.
No. Can you Manta dodge it if it's during like the invulnerability frame? I think you might
Probably.
be able to do that.
You can Manta dodge just about anything during the invulnerability frame, I believe. But
there's very little that removes it. I don't think anything DC has deals with it. Like if you replicate out, it will pull you back in. If you waveform out, it will pull you back in. If you try to relocate out, it will pull you back in. I don't think there's anything in this game that, in any case, that will save you from it.
Yeah, the Manta dodge and that invulnerability frame is what we call in the speedrunning community frame perfect. I don't know if that's actually the case in this game, but it feels like it. So they're gonna back away. DC, we're doing a good job.
The main thing you can use that's reliable for Morphling is BKB, but.
Yeah, but not everyone's gonna get BKB.
But it's a very low cooldown for FY. It's an 8-second ability. You can just spam it. If you're able to force out BKB charges with X, you're already winning the war.
Honestly, he's just done so much. He makes Kunkka look like a very good hero, whereas we've seen other teams play it and make it look awful. Not to say the other teams are playing it and just playing super poorly, or it doesn't work sometimes. And, you know, Kunkka's not always the best hero in any given situation, but against an IO and against a Morphling, the X Marks is so strong. Even against Mirana too.
We just haven't seen anything out of Moo either in the offlane. He's 0-5. This is a core Sand King that's yet to find a kill. We haven't really seen a good epicenter. The one relocate gank they went for completely backfired, and it just feels like the game plan is morphing kind of by default into just farm for late game and hope you can win there, but I don't really think DC have the late game.
You have TA, you have the Slardar, you have the Juggernaut that are all very good late game carries and cores, and then you have Kunkka, who was meant to be a core a long time ago and still can be, and he can build into physical damage and right click damage later if he wants to. Whereas for DC, you're really relying on resolution and Weeha, and Weeha's already gone for the caster build, so his physical damage is going to be poor.
They see someone mid, it's Weeha, he's carrying the gem, able to get out.
Nice blink, and hops away with the Mirana leap as well. But down bottom, this is kind of what DC are forced into. It's like you said, they want to farm, but they also are split pushing now, and they're keeping this bottom lane pushed in. It was top not too long ago, and now they're just kind of doing musical lanes and hoping for the best.
They definitely want to wait out the Aegis time, and there is about 2 minutes to go.
Yep.
So they're closing in on it.
Man, No is getting so farmed. He has... Let's see, Blink, BKB, Desolator, and Daedalus, so 2 slots left. He's going to sell his treads, get his boots of travel, so now he has the 1 slot left, not to mention the Moon Shard later on down the road. I don't know what you build next. I don't know what you build. Maybe a Butterfly for No?
It's feels a little risky. He has Aegis for 1.5 minutes or so more, but once this Aegis ends, he will not have buyback.
Yes, that's true.
I don't feel like there's any hurry for VG.R to get that next item and go win the game by any means.
I think his death timer will be like 80 seconds or something.
Yeah. Eventually he wants BOTs because it's just a good late game item, but it's great to deal with the Morphling IO split push and the relocate potential. But it's a bit risky here, so has to be careful with his positioning.
So other items that are coming out right now, let's see. You have Force already done for Mikasa, he's had that for a while. Blink Dagger was just finished for N, plus the Ultimate Orb, which is probably going to be Scotty, which I think he did yesterday. And then, what else is there? Anything else? It's the Ags, I guess, for the Sand King, and that's the only thing else that I can think of note. Oh, that's not good.
Fine socks.
See you later.
Hey, IO.
Oh my god.
And that was only N.
Did they have Soul Catcher on him? Oh, they did, okay.
They had Soul Catcher and Amp. It was a non-critical auto attack from the Jug.
Oh my god.
Imagine a Meld Strike crit from Nodo.
He just gets...
that kills the IO like 4 times over. He's just dead for the rest of the game. It deletes him.
Death timer's like 300 seconds or probably...
It sends him packing into game 2 of this series.
Well, yeah, like you said, DC kind of just have to wait out the Aegis, which is now gone. But I don't really think they could do anything even with the Aegis gone. They just the team fight for VG.R is still very strong. They don't, I think, have a pipe or anything to give you magic resistance.
No, just the BKB.
Which is fine. But if you do get a good epicenter from Mu, although it is on level 2, it could still do a lot of damage. It's just not going to be enough yet, I don't think. It's the Starstorm that I think you should be more worried about, probably.
Sand King is not a big threat at this stage in the game, and it's going to be more BKB soon for VG.R. Mikasa very close to his. That's a key hero to pick one up. And I believe... Oh, Juggernaut has Blade Fury, so he doesn't really need a BKB. But he's likely to get that next stats item, and tends to prefer just the raw HP build on Jugs, like the old school...
Right.
Patch was at 6.84? Or no, 6.83. That was the Jug patch, where we saw like Mask of Madness and mass stats items. So yeah, Scotty is completed now. Very tanky on the Jug.
Was that the same patch that was the rubber band
That was
patch?
the troll. No, that was the troll sniper Juggernaut patch.
Yeah, the rubber band patch.
Well, they tweaked the rubber band very hard.
It was
No, I think that was the patch before, because it was a very short-lived patch before the rubber band slackened.
Only a little bit, though, and then they had to change it even further. But now DC will smoke up, and here we go. It's two heads running right at each other, two ships colliding. It's going to be Mu jumping in first with the Burrow Strike. The amount of courage, he might be in trouble as they get torn off as well. DDC, Ghost Ship coming through, already one dead on both sides.
For Mora, buyback from the Sparta, but Resolution with his BKB already committed has to run. And they continue pursuit.
He needs to get out. He's got Waveform in 1. He'll be able to use it here, and he'll actually get relocated out instead. As his BKB was over. The Omni Slash coming out from End brings down Misery. It's a double kill, and Mikasa has finally rejoined the fray, but they're waiting for the IO now.
Is he going to get one shot?
Not quite. But 3 dead. Very good fight overall for VG.R, even with the buyback from Mikasa. Did the Epicenter get used? No. Starstorm did okay damage, but they're going to probably lose the racks here, even with the buybacks. I don't know if they can...
You do not back there if you're VG.R. You have your full squad online. They already committed their relocate.
Healing Ward coming out as well, so even with him getting Ethereal Bladed, he's fine.
And has to make sure to micro that so Weehaw can't quickly kill him. No, out in front though, needs help. He BKBs, he can't be disrupted. Oh, no. Panicking under the pressure, not trusting DDC.
DDC's in trouble as well, but the Ghost will be back out. Here comes Ed with the Burrow Strike there. They have still the Epicenter, and Starstorm coming back in. Weehaw in trouble. He'll fall. They bought back at the TA. They're getting ready to fight.
The X's.
Yeah, they're bringing someone back, and now it's going to be another Burrow Strike coming in to Mikasa. He just bought back Great Disruption this time around. Buybacks from everybody. And Slardar is going to try to leave, but there's the Waveform. It's Active Strike. The gems on the deck. They want more. No is blinked away. Mu not quite in range. No Aether Lens, no Aghanim Scepter. I don't think they can find this. Oh, the Spirit Probe. They know that he's over there. Oh, they should. Instead, they go for FY instead. That's going to be the target. The Adaptive Strike coming in with the Ethereal Blade, and he's going to fall.
A complete struggle by VG.R to break this base. 2 buybacks for 3 buybacks, so still a little bit more committed by DC, but when you're this far ahead as VG.R, that is definitely a win for Digital Chaos.
If they die on No again, he doesn't have buyback, he just used it, so that's, I mean, the one thing is that they do have the buyback on End, and DC have no buybacks, so DC, I don't know how hard you go with this push, but they definitely want to try to get something done. A tier 2 would be nice. They have Cliff available, and they still have Epicenter for DC, and Ags is coming soon for Sand King for his Burrow Strike.
Is DC gonna pull another match out of the hat? This feels like it should have been a clean VG.R win, but some mishaps in the push, and all of a sudden
they're not going to commit to
they find themselves pushed back.
The high ground, and which I think is a fine choice. They can check Roche. It's such a long respawn timer. That sucks for them. DC, if that was a short respawn timer, they could head into the pit, but it's still 1 minute left, and by that point, in fact now, everyone is up and respawn for Vici Gaming Reborn.
They have to communicate better in these fights, though. If Nono needs to trust DDC to disrupt him, and they have to be clear about who should be in front. Like in that particular engagement, there's no way TA should be up that far hitting the tower with nobody behind her. If they're going to put the TA up that far, Shadow Demon needs to be in position to disrupt.
Well, she doesn't need to, and No shouldn't have, like you said, shouldn't have used the BKB.
Right.
Otherwise the disruption was there. Then you could BKB out if you want, or just
there's a lot of ways they could have approached. Like Jug could have been hitting the tower. He's a lot tankier than the TA, and also has the Blade Fury if they jump him, which is a much lower cooldown than a BKB.
Weehaw should think about boots of travel, because The bottom lane is pushed in so far, and so if Vici committed to a fight there, they could have gone bottom and pushed and maybe taken a Rax. But they smoke up instead.
Weehaw doesn't really hit buildings very hard, though. Do you mean the Morphling?
I mean, well, Weehaw can't get there. He needs boots of travel.
No, he has BOTs. You mean?
Or I meant
Resolution.
Resolution doesn't have BOTs is what I meant. And Weehaw would have to bots there. But yeah, he doesn't hit very hard. That's the problem. He's
they have relocate though, so if they want to backdoor, they definitely can.
That's a good point.
But you can't just blindly backdoor when all 5 VG are alive. So DC looking for that one big fight that could allow them to walk into the pit.
DC are going to use the Moonlight Shadow after smoking, and it looks like VG.R might get caught. They have the gem though, and it looks like Weehaw avoids the split regression.
Double whip there, both teams missing their
Resolution
spells.
blows up Shadow Demon, he has to buy back immediately. BKB pop for No-No, and now Rezo is kind of on his own right now.
This TA is wrecking him, but Resolution able to back away. BKB is going to wear off, and then he can come back in with the shotgun. They need more kills. They get another.
Yeah, that's a huge one. Mu going down, and again, no buybacks on the side of DC whatsoever. Resolution's gonna turn around. He's got the full ethereal blade. No, wait for it. He's got the refraction. It might be a dieback, but the refraction disruption is down now, and here comes End and the rest of the crew. Resolution cannot get it done. He jumps forward, and he needed one more auto attack, and no.
30 HP. Oh boy, that one's gonna leave a mark.
Oh, DC.
Even the X on the No, he can rejoin this push immediately down the mid lane. They're going to have a healing ward soon. 13 seconds. Screw the pit. VG.R say, let's get some racks. That's a dieback on the Morph lane, and that is 1, 2, maybe 3 lanes of racks.
I think it might be Megas here. It's got to be close. Weehaw has to do some work
if TA gets there, No needs to go join his team. He steps off to buy a moon shard. He was meandering around the river, I think hoping for a DD rune or something.
This should be 3 sets of racks without Resolution alive, even with 4 heroes. I don't see VG.R backing after just 2. There's no tier 2s left. Mu is getting kind of ready for an epicenter, which we have yet to see this game with the exception of the one failed one at that bottom lane. They say screw the range racks, let's get the tier 3 and let's get the full set of racks down bottom. Mu's rotated over. Here comes the epicenter.
First epicenter of the game. Is it going to be a good one? He runs away!
Why?
Oh, Mu.
Still, though, No taking some serious damage. Has to pop the BKB, and now Weehaw looking to go back in. And comes in and just blows Misery away. Chops him down. Bro Strike ends in trouble, and he might have to play Fury out. He doesn't have it down for 3 seconds. One more auto attack, and it's going to be the Starstorm that cuts him and gets the kill.
He has a buyback, though. And they have taken 1.5 lanes of racks as No lurks.
They're looking for Mikasa now, and they'll find him with the Starstorm. Yeah, the second one will hit, and it's 2 down.
Gem hits the deck.
That's the best they probably could have done given the circumstances.
That is a dieback on the Slardar, I believe. Yeah, down for only a minute. I guess he's quite under-leveled, under-farmed at this point.
Yeah.
But, or maybe, he may have died once already since buying back, because he should be dead longer otherwise. But regardless, can DC really punish this? The lanes aren't that pushed. They don't know if the Slardar's buyback is almost up, so they probably figure it will be by the time they could get there.
I think they want to go Roche, but I don't think that's going to really be a possibility. I don't know. Maybe they can't contest with just 3 heroes. I mean, you can buy back on end, but I don't think you want to. I don't know if they really care about the Aegis. They should, though.
It's annoying to have to deal with 2 lives on Resolution, but it's also very risky to go into the pit. You die on the TA, no buyback for a full minute. That's a lot of time for DC to potentially push. Not to mention, Juggernaut don't want to have to use his buyback to take that fight, and they cannot take it 3v5.
Cheese is on the deck. It's going to be picked up by Weehaw, who drops his ring of Aquila. Yeah, I mean, the problem is they were so close in killing No, and that would have stopped or slowed down the push. They would still have lost 4 heroes, I think, but at least No would have died again.
That's the power of Shadow Demon, and that's why in that mid push when he BKB, it was such a no for them. Is they really needed him not to use it there. But Shadow Demon is a fight winner.
FY's picked up a Blink recently, not only that, but he's also picked up the Ultimate Orb. The Resolution will clear up this top lane, although it is, I won't call it Mega Creeps, Super Creeps, whatever you want to call them, as the Rax is gone there, at least the melee Rax is. And he can rejoin his team, and I think they have a Replicate down there. I hope they do anyway. Yeah, they do. It's the Mirana Replicate.
So if you're VG.R now, I still think you have the better late game, assuming you execute. You're up 1.5 lanes of Rax. Well, sorry, it's 2 melee racks, which is effectively 2 lanes for all intents and purposes. So I don't think there's any hurry. You still have room to farm on end. You still have buybacks that are cooling down. No is mostly done farming. He can eat the moon shards and buy one more item, but he's still got a little room to grow. So I don't think there's any huge hurry here. For VG.R, it should more be about being careful with their movements, securing map control, and finding a pick-off before they break the base.
I mean, absolutely. But DC aren't going to let them just sit back and farm or not, pressure because, well, first of all, they're going to wait for the Aegis for VG.R, but, well, there's an X-Sparks coming in. That was from FY, though, but...
Yeah, FY. Just constantly keeping these lanes pushed out.
I think
I'm doing it in a very safe manner.
For DC, I think you smoke up, maybe try to find a couple of pick-offs because they are outside the base. They are killable, even though they're very strong. I am thinking about itemization for the TA. There's no MKB for anybody in this game, and the TA can still build Butterfly.
I think Morph already bought a Talisman. Oh, he's got the Quarterstaff. So yeah, he's going to go B-Fly. MKB should be your final item.
So one of them's got to get a Butterfly, one of them's going to get an MKB. I was just...
Yeah.
He mixed it up, I suppose, as he replicates back in.
Yeah, so no. For now, buyback is more important. You haven't even seen a Butterfly yet. And VG.R will commence the siege, bringing in the Jug Illusions. Anyone who doesn't have buyback should sit farther away. Let those... The one thing is, I think something you brought up earlier is quite relevant now, is Boots of Travel. Like, they can even X no. He can just at least hit this wave twice top. Well, gonna do exactly that. Okay.
Yeah.
I swear VG.R can't hear me right now, but just abuse the X to push out lanes. And that way, when you go for the siege, you've got all the lanes pushed in. Even if you lose a fight, DC can't instantly react.
Wow, that illusion was a bait. Mikasa jumps in and blows up Doxa, and Resolution is going to be next. He can't strength forfeit time, nor does he want to, as it's just the Aegis, but he needs backup. Doxa will buy back Resolution pops BKB. You cannot man fight No. The Omni Splash jumping through, hitting Resolution, and Resolution alone, and he is done. He's got buyback. He's going to have to use it, but they might just lose this fight outright. They've lost
kill
two.
After kill. They're looking for more. VG.R in command of this game now.
They literally, everyone had buybacks for DC, and they were all forced to use it. Except for Misery, who bought out before dying.
Triple buyback and an Ogre Death who doesn't have it, and they invested nothing really in that fight.
That was
just a boat that's already cooled down because Kunkka's ultimate has a 40-second cooldown at level 3. Here we go.
You're gonna X-Spark to end Daniel, get some auto attacks off. Starstorm doesn't do any damage, the Blade Fury's there.
And they can just keep on Xing one of these heroes. They can jump in, hit the Rex a few times, then back away. It's such a safe way to siege the base.
Cheese was not used by Weeha. He didn't die, but he will probably need to give that cheese to Resolution, or I don't know, he might have.
This is so cheesy. Disruption illusions, X on the Jug. Just super safe play. Even the Mata.
VG.R look good now. I mean, they've made a couple of mistakes here and there, but this is a very good game. I mean, they're on the doorstep of taking this game in the series 1-0 right now.
And he's even Blade Fury while he hits them. Unfortunately, there's no creeps in the base mid, so it doesn't actually do damage, but the concept is there.
DC have been really doing a great job of split pushing and keeping the lanes pushed out while they're hemmed in their base, I suppose. But now it's going to get harder as the troops are coming through. Look at these illusions. Just go to work on the ranged racks. God.
It's slow but steady work, but it's DC who are the ones that, like, they can't really take a risk and come out, because if they do, 3 of these heroes don't have buyback and are very likely to die. But if they sit there, they're just going to lose by default, and we can see that already. No-No's been sent top for a flanking maneuver. He's going to get the range drag. A quick sniperoo.
And Resolution's up there as well, and I don't think he has replicate, so
FY
they're just going to come in and finish off and give him megas, and then at that point, I don't know what to do. Yeah,
this is checkmate.
Yeah.
DC just has to run in.
They're going to try to fight now, and here we go. The BKBs are going to be popped like crazy. There's the ghost ship. He's going to give him the raw mood dice to 2 hits.
And No looking for more. He wants a piece of Misery. He does get chain stun. Locked down a bit. He needs a little help here. Where's DDC? Disruption is on cooldown for now.
He's about to go down. He will. He does have buyback. He's going to use the Resolution. No man fighting it again. Is losing it. He replicates an inch forward. We'll wait for him away and might actually survive.
The BOTs from Mikasa.
He's coming in.
Bringing in reinforcements.
Here comes No. Resolution is solo, and that's it. They have to call a good game. Weeha's down. He does have buyback, but that is it. They cannot deal with the mega creeps now, LD, and it is going to be game 1 going to VG.R, finally getting their first win here in TI6.
Well, it wasn't always that smooth through the mid game, but at the end, VG.R had an unstoppable siege prepared. Disruption illusions, the X X sending No back to push out the top lane, then sending him top to snipe the Ranger X. And as soon as that Ranger X went down, DC realized we have to go all in and try and take a fight. We're going to lose by default if they're just allowed to sit back and siege. So, woo, what a game. That was some cool, unusual picks.